I've got Ray Park next to me. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. I don't know if I think I explained to you before. We did a grand prize on CHOM. We gave away tickets to Comic Con all week long, and our VIP grand prize winner got to duel with the dark side and have a lightsaber duel with you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3, up, boom, boom. Yeah!
That's great. Thanks so much,
Easy
Ray.
peasy.
Yeah. You know, you've been a part of so many amazing franchises. You know, you're part of G.I. Joe. You're part of Star Wars. I mean, you're in Star Wars history. What's amazing. You've been part of the X-Men. Is there anything you can't do?
I've just been very lucky and very blessed.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up with G.I. Joe and He-Man and Thundercats and Star Wars, and it's because of Star Wars that I got into the martial arts and the make-believe, like the fantasy side.
Faction fiction.
I watched Return of the Jedi when I was 7,
Okay.
and watching Luke go through his training process with Yoda, I was like, I want to master like that,
Yeah.
and I want to be able to do a handstand and a front somersault. So I got into gymnastics and martial arts, and
Yeah.
I've been very lucky. So.
I remember I had moved to LA in 1999 with my band, and we
Wow.
were driving across during April. And we got into LA like April 28th, and I remember I lined up at Mann's Chinese Theater.
So you were there, yeah?
I was there. Well, I wasn't at the premiere, but I lined up and I saw it at like 3 in the morning because they were doing 24-hour screenings. And I remember watching the movie, and I was like, "Wow, you were mean.
Yeah.
Your character was great." And then they turfed you at the end.
I knew about it straight from the beginning.
You knew you were going to get cut in half. And
Yeah, even before I
I didn't
auditioned.
think it was believable. How could he have beat you? I mean, your skills were way too advanced.
Well, we justified it by because Darth Maul was cocky,
Right.
and overconfident. He got taken out by a Jedi.
And I remember because Hasbro was doing all the toy stuff, and the characters come out before the movie. And I remember getting this Darth Maul action figure, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this?"
It was for me to sort of be part of Star Wars and grow up with Star Wars. And my dad was able to get the cassette copy of all of the movies, and whenever I would play hooky from school or pretend to be sick, Star Wars and Superman used to go on.
Yeah.
And my mum it got to the point my mum would go, "Not Star Wars again." My younger brother and I would always watch Star Wars, and so to actually be part of it is awesome. And I never wanted to be a bad guy. I never set out to be a bad guy.
But it seems like that's where you're going.
Because
But you're such a nice guy. You're not a bad guy at all. Like, you got great energy. You're a nice guy, and you're always a bad guy.
it's when I saw Darth Maul for the first time, I saw him as a guy who didn't speak much,
Right.
didn't really show emotion. He was just emotionless but very confident. Like a little bit like the Chinese masters you see in kung fu movies.
Yeah.
Whenever they're dueling or fighting, they never look at you. They're so good they can do it with their eyes closed.
Right.
That's how I wanted to be with Darth Maul.
Well, thank you for being the best thing
Thank you.
in episode 1, and the one endearing thing in episode 1.
I was just
because
lucky.
it still stands up.
Yeah. Thanks to George Lucas.
Yeah, no, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. George is a genius. No matter what anyone wants to say, those movies are amazing. And when you watch them, 1 to 6, I get where he was coming from. Are you excited about 7, 8, and 9?
I am, because I remember asking my dad 2 things. Dad, can you make me a lightsaber?
Yeah.
And because he's an electrician, and I asked him, why did they? So he would say, there's 3 movies. My dad told me years ago they're going to do the first 3 movies and the last 3.
So your dad's telling you this, and then
he's telling me this.
Is your dad still around?
Yeah.
So when you watch,
he's proud,
your dad must have been like, he must have lost it. It's like, my son's in episode 1.
Well, I thank my parents because they're young parents, and
they knew about the 9 movies that were mapped out.
My dad knows more about the film business than I do.
Okay.
It's strange that he's just a fan, but he seems to know the politics and the business, and for someone who's not in it. So when I was younger, I was a little bit hot-headed with my dad. Would go, "Dad, you don't know it. What are you telling me?" But I respect him a lot.
It's amazing how we grow up and realize our parents were right, eh?
Yeah, they're right. And my dad always said to me, the thing that's hard is knowing you're right.
Yeah.
You don't, knowing what's out there and you're right, and it's hard to see as your kids go through it.
And not step in and just let them make their mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. What do you have lined up? What's coming up in the future?
Well, hopefully I get called to do the next.
So you must want to be in 7 and 9.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, they got to sew you back together or come back as a or something. I mean,
I'll be Jabba.
But the thing is, if they reconstructed Anakin You know, they could have who knows where Darth Maul fell when he fell, right?
Well, yeah,
we don't know.
Well, we used to joke about it because the reason why I got cut in half, our original idea was to have my head sliced off.
Right.
And Nick Gillard, the stunt coordinator, said if you have your head sliced off, you definitely can't come back.
But if you're half.
And that's why I cut in half, because if you can do it with Luke Skywalker.
Right. The second half, who knows? Maybe you were already a robot and they just have to put on another half.
They can do it. I would love to do it.
I would love to see you back. You're a great guy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.
The spirit of rock. CHOM 97.7.